Hi friends, I am back with another one of my planner flip through and process videos in my Archer and Olive collab planner for 2020. I thought it would be fun to share with you what April looks like in my memory planner as well as how some of the spreads came together. You may have already seen the video of how this super colorful Joy Starts Now sticker spread came to life. I love that it inspired many of you to use up the stickers in your stash and shared some of the photos on my blog. Since I am focusing more on the weeklies, the monthly outlook is a smattering of magazine cutouts, quotes that resonate, and whatever else I want to include. I think I'll end up putting a picture in this blank space, but for now it's just empty. The Common Relaxed was clipped from the cover of an issue of Real Simple. The Greetings from the Quarantine is a favorite find, and I got it from JC's magazine, either The Economist or The New Yorker. Main focus this month, however, was prioritize well-being over productivity. Speaking of productivity, this is how this spread turned out, but I'm going to show you how it came together. I began with some Altenew watercolors, and most of this process will be sped up, but I wanted to show you how deliberate and slow it starts at first by making these marks. I think it's a therapeutic process. Many of you have said the same thing. Some of you do feel intimidated by watercolors though, and I want you to know that as soon as you start doing it, instead of overthinking the process, just try it on these smaller parts of either your planner or a small sketchbook and simply do what I'm doing. Choose a color, get some water on your water brush or paintbrush, and then dip it into the pan or the color of your choice and start making these little splotches. I think that anybody can do this. Everybody is creative. And before you know it, you'll get a little bit more comfortable with playing with the watercolors, the ratio of how much water to paint you want. And you only really learn by doing, especially when it comes to something like this. You could watch a ton of videos on how to do it. You can take classes, but until you actually put that brush to paint to paper, you're not going to discover how you want to let it flow. And it's a really gradual process, and the learning curve, I think, is as much as you want to put on yourself, how much pressure you want to put on yourself. And if you let it flow and approach it with ease, I think it's even better because the results are driven by your artistic nature. And you can even take a straw and make some sprays like this, and you never know what to expect. I think many of you have seen me do this technique before, and I would recommend just dropping expectations and allowing yourself to make it messy. And you can see that it bled through to some other pages too, but that's okay. Give yourself the permission to try these different things. And if you're an expert at watercolor, this is just something that you probably have learned a long time ago. But I think it's important to reiterate anytime you're trying something new or getting into your creative flow, just try things, do things, make things happen, experiment. These are just stickers. This whole process should be something that is very fun and brings you joy. I think that's the whole reason you watch these videos, is because, first of all, I mess up a lot, and because the process is very, I think, what's the word I'm looking for? Organic, maybe? And you can see that I don't really plan out too much. I see where things fit and I go with it. These stamps, for example, I wasn't sure how much of it I wanted to put down, but then I realized, you know what, I'm going to do some off the edge here and then maybe one last splotch at the bottom. So organically, or three last ones. Organically, you can have it come through and use the supplies that you have. These are the new alphabet stickers from my collection, Picnic in the Park with American Crafts. And I love them because they are translucent and you can use them in all types of ways. You can layer them. I could have had this over watercolor if I wanted, but because of their small nature, but yet colorful, sort of interesting texture, I would say, and the effect that it has on the paper, It's a really, really fun way to add a bit of something different to your spreads. I like mixing, obviously, stickers, stamps, watercolors, and I hope that you find that you can use your supplies in a different way and see it through a different lens. Obviously, these are just alphabet stickers, so they're very easy to use, but that's how basically the spread started, and this is how it ended up looking. I love that there are quotes included, and I stuck to somewhat of a color scheme each week instead of using all the colors. This pink week is really fun, and it says in the corner, "In the rush to return to normal, use this time to consider which parts of normal are worth rushing back to." And that's a quote by Dave Hollis. And this next spread, I included the same types of things, markers, not really watercolor, but some quotes. Be a fun enthusiast. I love that. Apocalyptimist. Someone who knows it's all going to shit, but still thinks things will turn out okay. And I think that's what I am. So this next spread has some more stickers and fun. And this is where I'm going to show you how this last week in April came together. Stickers are something I can never get enough of, and I love the way they look layered on top of a watercolor base. And like I said, use the splotches, use the watercolors, use your supplies as you please, and experiment with how it looks when you group things together or layer things on top of each other. There's a really nice effect that comes through if you stick with just a few colors as well. And I led with basically pinks, yellows, rich yellows, sort of a lilac purple shade of pink, and of course my turquoise that I love to use. And as much as I wanted to do more rainbows, I love how these colors come together. This is an Altenew die that I had cut out in a previous project and decided that I would glue it onto this spread. I'm taking American Crafts glue, and you can use a glue stick, you can use a glue pen, but this is something I found works really well against these cut pieces with the detail edges. And if you use a scrap piece of paper and dab some glue along this, you could also run it through a sticker maker if you have one of those, but I just decided to do it really quickly here, just like that with the glue, and then pat it down so that it stays. There are a number of ways, obviously, and tools that you can use. Whatever you have on hand is probably the best thing. I happen to have a variety of adhesives so that I can use them for different purposes. This is the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen, and I wanted to write "My love shines brighter than my fears" up here. And it's something that I think we can all take at this time as wisdom that maybe we can adapt to our lives. And really, instead of letting fear take over, we can make sure our love really comes forth and does shine brighter. As some of you know, my word of the year is bright, and it's a really interesting word to have for 2020 because we are going through such dark, uncertain times. But I think it's really the perfect word because it lends itself to embracing the contrast that is our lives. And using these silly supplies and really finding joy in the mundane or our everyday is something that I take to heart and really consider, because the process of looking within and finding out what really matters to us is something that I don't take lightly. I think that it's really important that we as individuals hone in on the things that truly bring us joy. We're spending a lot of time at home these days, and I mean most of our time at home, right? Let's be honest, I'm in Los Angeles and we just got notice of shelter in place will probably be through July. So, and that news doesn't come as such a shock to me. But, oh, right here, see how the user error, I didn't stamp all the way through. That's okay. I just filled it in with black pen. And I do want to encourage you to take out the creative supplies that make you feel joy inside, right? And and take the time to clean up your supplies too and your stamps, because I don't always do that, but I think it's an important step to take, and I'm trying to be better about those good habits like cleaning stamps. Uh, but this is a great time to, really look at the little things in your life. Jack has been obsessed with fried eggs for some reason. So he used to only like it a certain way, and I thought that that food stamp would be a cute thing to highlight. As you move through your days and find that, sometimes you just need a redo. I wanted to put this cloud in because I think that it was very significant, more so than the eggs. And so I just included that. And I don't think that you have to go crazy with filling in every last detail or sharing too much about your feelings if you don't want to. But hopefully, in a way, you have a creative outlet where you can express those feelings and feel free to share those, even though you may be the only one who reads them. This to me is something that I do share. I do share publicly. I encourage people, it hasn't happened lately, but if friends come over, then I would want them to flip through this. Or if I have this with me at an event and I want to share it with people, I want it to be something that people can feel inspired to flip through. And that's part of the joy of this time, right? We hopefully can collectively take a pause, and I really hope that you're able to relax a little bit and take a break. And, even if it's not every day, I encourage you to find those pockets of time and do something that really makes you happy, because I think that's key, especially if we're going to thrive through these times instead of just feel like we're in survival mode. And, my heart goes out to you if you are struggling more than usual. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm actually thinking about opening up one-on-one consulting and coaching sessions because it's something that has been on my mind and on my heart for quite some time. I had to add drive-by here because we went to our first drive-by birthday party. We are in this together. I'm rooting for you. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't already, please check out my podcast, Craft a Life You Love. I talked to Audrey from Urbanic, and it was such a wonderful conversation. I mean, they really all have been recently. Just the quality of topics that we cover and the insights that people share. I encourage you to come have a visit. Also, our website got a revamp. If you aren't on our email list, please do get on it. We have a free guide that is a Lift Your Creative Spirits, 5 bold acts of creativity that you can do right now, and I encourage you to sign up for that. The links are below. Thank you, as always, for watching and tuning in and following along on Instagram. I read every single comment, as I do here as well, so it would mean a lot to me if you took the time to comment, and I hope that you feel inspired to create your own healing and get those creative juices flowing. Thank you so much. Also remember, you only need one ray of light to chase the shadows away. A quote from my favorite fiction book that I've read in quarantine, A Man Called Ove.